They can't do a home inspection. That's what their option period is for. Home warranty, typically look up home warranties online. Just Google home warranties, residential home warranties, First American home warranty, Old Republic home warranty, and look at their prices. That's as if the buyer wants the seller to pay for a home warranty for them up to that amount of money. Again, that's negotiable. Okay, closing date is already in there because I had pre-filled it out. The buyer wants the keys upon closing and funding unless they inform you that there's a lease back or something that the seller wants to be done. Again, the listing agent would have to tell you that. This is if you want the buyer to pay for any of this is if you want the seller to pay for any of your buyer's closing costs. So let's say the lender tells you the closing costs are $8,000 and the buyer says, I would like the seller to pay for half my closing costs. Well, if the lender's telling you the closing costs are $8,000, half of 8 is 4. We'll go into this a little bit more. You really don't want to put, like if the closing costs are only $8,000 and you want to be on the safe side and you put $10,000 in there. If the closing costs due at the closing and go to only $8,000 and you put $10,000 in that line, that $2,000 does not get rebated back to your buyer. And they can't use that $2,000 for like furniture. So you just essentially you've out negotiated your buyer more closing costs than they needed. But we'll go into that at a later date. Just make sure you can confer with your lender about that and tell them how much closing costs should I ask for, because sometimes the lender has a max amount according to the loan that you can even ask for. So confer with your lender or the buyer's lender on that one, please. This is where you want to put the buyer's address. If it's 123 John Street, apartment 4, Houston, Texas, make sure that their email will be pre-filled because you had to fill that out on the other one. Again, follow Fernando's guidelines. Right here, it absolutely gives you, why isn't it highlighting? Great examples of what to use and when not to use it. Follow his guidelines and check the appropriate boxes, please. Okay. Again, he gives you instructions on what to do. I'm waiting for mine to load. Do not fill this out yet because you're just making the initial offer. The contract is not executed yet, obviously, because the seller hasn't signed it as well. Make sure you don't forget to fill out your information here. You can use Fernando's as a guide. Rick Rogers would be the licensed supervisor because he is the broker. I don't know why it's not highlighting. And then, of course, you would put your information here instead of Fernando's because you would be the associate. And click, you're the buyer's agent. And the rest of the information, you have the information right here. Make sure you put 3%. You want to get paid, don't you? Sometimes people put 3% of sales price. Okay. Again, I'm trying to do not touch this last page. That's for the title company. So I'm going to hit save. Saving. Again, go back to your DA checklist because you do want, I can't see. Go back. You want to share it? No, because you've got. Okay. So, because you've got other things you need to fill out. Again, make sure you follow the checklist. And then again, here is other things you can use as an example. So we'll go over the other kind of confusing one is the third-party financing addendum. I'll use Fernando's as a guide because I need to keep this video short. So if it's a conventional loan, you fill this part out. It won't click there. Loan amount goes here. The length of the loan, which is typically a 30-year, unless it's a 15. the other link, do that again, repeat that. And then you want to put the interest rate of whatever the buyer is getting. That's typically on the pre-approval letter, or the lender can tell you. And then put 1% there. That's for the origination charge. You don't fill this both out because it's not a conventional and an FHA loan. Fernando is just showing you how to fill it out if it's one or the other. If it's FHA, then you need to fill it out like this. Put 203B, because that's the type of financing. Put the loan amount. In my case, it was 190,000 because it was less than 5% down. 30-year interest rate, 30-year, again, put the 1%. Do not forget to click this button here and put 21 days right here. Then if it's an FHA, you have to fill this line out right here. And you need to put the sales price because that's what you want it to appraise for. So in my case, you would write 200,000 right there. Okay. Make sure like your IBS, make sure that's all filled out over here. Make sure you follow your guideline, please. Make sure everything that I explained here is filled out here. When you're done, you're going to click the filled out forms. You don't need to send them the client the DA checklist. That's not necessary because they don't need to see that. But click the forms that they need to sign. The water district was given on HAR, so you're going to pull that from them. And you're going to go ahead first. I want you to download it. Unless you want to just share it with me via the share button. Save it to your computer and send it, email it to me so I may review it, please. First, before your buyer signs it, please. After that, you can, I want you to add documents. You're going to browse because you're going to pick up the seller's disclosures from the, from your computer that you saved, the water district notice that you saved on your computer, the exclusion. I go ahead and add the exclusion list because I have my buyers, sign it because it's just to acknowledge it's, I get it, it's on the contract, but I just have them sign it as an FYI. Okay. So all this stuff that I saved, I'm going to have my sellers sign. They can even sign the bottom of the survey. It's not going to hurt. It's just acknowledging they received it. The HOA, they don't have to sign the survey. That's going a little picky, but the HOA, the listing agent already filled it out. Here's the catch with the way they filled it out. This is fine, but they of course have the buyer paying for the documents. That says if the title company, the lender needs any additional HOA documents, and it, again, just read it. It means your buyer will has to pay for that. So just, I already knew that they would have the buyer box checked because of course they're the listing agent. So if you want to negotiate that, you need to fill out your own HOA form. Okay. So once you browse that in, you click share. And then you want to click obviously the people. I think you can even, it's me, I'm going to be your administrator, I think, on yours, and you can assign me that that I can edit in private, but you don't want to do that to your buyer because they're not on your team like I am. You want to just click can sign, and then you don't want to send it to the listing agent because your buyer is just signing it. So don't click the listing agent, click your buyers, add them that they can sign. You can add people if you want, like if there's some, like maybe you could just add me. But again, I'm not I use another program called Zip Forms. So that's why I'm seem a little hazy on .loop. It's a long story. I'm just old school. I'm getting to know .loop, but I'm not sure how you can just send it to me without sending it to your buyer. That's why I gave you that PDF option to send it to me, but I'm pretty sure you can. Maybe y'all could fill me in on that. But anyway, obviously this is after I review it and okay it, then maybe you just don't click that and you just click this and say done. Maybe you just click reshare. So that's probably the case. Anyway, Once you're done, I've approved it, then you can send it to your buyer, click, can sign, hit share. Okay. If you have any more questions, make sure you give me a call, please.